What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a special video because Nick had an hour-long podcast discussion with the ultimate OG, Nepenthez, and they went over a lot.
Welcome to the podcast. Nep is live, man, with the past and present Evo.
I packed Pele. He's like the best thing I've packed.
What?
This year.
And I'm going to give you my opinion, my take, and address a bunch of points and make this very concise because that video was all over the place. But that's what you expect with an hour-long piece of content. If you want more of this goodness, drop a like, get in the comment section, let me know your opinion. If you haven't seen their video, that will also be linked down below. I appreciate both Nick and Nepenthez, two friends in the community. Let's get this party started. Is FC 24 pay to win? And Nepenthez and Nick seem to be on the same page when they said this.
I think this year is the first year I've really noticed the pay to win. Like I know it's pay to win in the past, but I don't know. Even a couple years ago, I remember in FIFA 20, like I had a, you could use that ratty gold team with like Mendy and Gucci gold, right? And you could face like a team of R9 Hulla and you could compete.
We've had multiple videos discussing attainability being easier than ever in FC 24, comparatively to previous installments. So the question is, how do you define pay to win? Because if your definition, higher rated meta players give you massive competitive advantage, then I believe their argument or their statement is valid. However, you can attain a lot of those meta players easier this year without any money being spent. So I'm a little bit conflicted because that doesn't go hand in hand. When I think pay to win is that I actually had to put money into the game. This year, you name an SBC, we can get that done. I don't even have to play that many games. Packs just being given out. If anything, there might be too much first ownership. Nick sort of supports my opinion. A minute and a half later in the video.
So I decided I'm going back to like trading. I'm going back to my roots, right? And you'll be so proud of me. In 2 weeks, bro, I'm up to 1.5 mil. I'm up to 1.5 mil now. And you know what? I'll say this, bro. The champs rewards, bro, they are actually so solid this year. Like I'm making 200K even on a bad weekend from rewards.
If you can generate 1.5 million coins in 2 weeks, naturally, you will have grade A level of attainability.
Wait, so what? Are you still doing the Player of the Month Mbappe account?
No, I finished that. I
You got the card?
Weekend. Yeah, and then I put it in a 2-player upgrade, which some people didn't appreciate.
You're not doing a full year RTG anymore. You're kind of jumping like now you're going to do this, the shitters account?
Yeah, the shitters will be uploaded like once or twice a week at most. Just like when there's like a significant change. Like I tried to qualify for champs last week with the team and I only got 2 wins in qualifiers. It was tough. Oh, he's about to get hosted and he doesn't even know. Yeah, the one that I'm watching.
Oh my god!
Oh, you can't even make that up, Horam!
And Nep's talking about the road to glories. The reason that he started multiples is because he was able to attain. He was able to unlock the Mbappe SBC or the Salah SBC with ease. It wasn't a challenge. It made the game almost boring for him because of all the fodder, all the objective packs, the unlockables, what you can earn with minimum output, and then you can insert into the SBCs, which I'm not saying should be the future, but it has been something that's been inevitable for getting the top tier meta players without necessarily having to spend the big budget because you can constantly recycle those players. On one of his road to glories, it's all low level evolutions, which is a fantastic idea. Shout out to Nep.
That's crazy, bro. This is the team he's using, chat, on the shitters series.
The shitters, mate.
God, man. I mean, that is proper terrible team.
To his point, if you're using a team that you want this development to go towards, unless you're grinding out squad battles, gameplay-wise, you're always going to be at a massive disadvantage. But I still remember the throwback years, FIFA 12, maybe all the way up to 16, where the speed of the game and the skill gaps and the lack of promos and major upgrades made it possible for you to compete with regular gold players, even silver players. And we've done some nostalgic throwbacks, returning those moments of glory, just some of the best of FIFA YouTube as well in terms of the squad building and the gameplay focus. I'm not going to get on screen and say it was the most realistic or the best games that we ever had, but I do believe that period, which I've coined the golden era, was the most fun we've had with Ultimate Team. Maybe it was just because it was so raw. EA hadn't figured out all the different microtransactions completely. Yes, we had coin sponsors, and the gameplay was arcadey. Next on the docket, elephant in the room, team of the year. What is this going to look like? Plenty of contemplation. I have not seen a leak anywhere on social media just yet. Nick and Nep make a valid point. This is the first year that we would have 2 Team of the Years.
Dude, the women's Team of the Year, like, I don't know the confirmed players and stuff, but bro, it's gonna be insane this year how good they are, right?
Yeah, it will be. Like, especially if that Bonmati gets a...
Yeah, Bonmati.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, we're watching the weekly Barca highlights in here. The women's team, like, they are so much better. I don't even know what, like, to compare them to as they're like Spain in 2010. You know what I mean?
I think I share in their sentiment. I keep up with major moments in women's football, but I don't know every single result or even the best players in the world outside of this Barcelona team is unstoppable. I see the highlights, the mix-ups, they're hitting my socials. I'm also watching what's happening locally. Congrats to Gotham. When I was growing up and we were talking about US soccer in particular, it was always about the women. I was there for the Mia Hamm, the Brandy Chastain.
Literally, it was chaos. It was insanity.
How does this date back to Team of the Year? It's the first. What's going to happen with now having a women's Team of the Year and a men's Team of the Year, which I don't know if it's been confirmed, but surely that's what's going down. The docket is growing. Have leaks ruined the game?
I think it was like 2018 or something, or Castro. I can't remember who I was watching, but I was watching somebody during... Do you remember when in FIFA 17 they used to drop the Footmas SBCs at midnight UK?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Bro, I think I was watching one of them, and the second night or something, they dropped Dybala, Aubameyang, and some other. No one knew, like, the cards. Like, that was the last year of the leaks being really sacred. Even in FIFA 18, like, we had Total Ultimate Team. I don't know if you remember that. They were starting to leak stuff. Like, the whole Footmas got leaked the year before.
My question would more be, where is the origin of the leak? Are there EA employees providing this information? Because we often figure out what players are coming out with the full stats, all the ratings, even a week before the release. And I still remember what Nick and Nep are discussing, where you would get on stream, wait for the content because it was a new announcement. You didn't know what was coming. There was a promo, but we had no idea. And it piqued the viewership. The community all came together for that launch, that release, every Friday, 6 p.m. I'm there. You're there. We're here. Back to Team of the Year. Are we likely to see the introduction of multiple Playstyle Plus players for Team of the Year? Both on the men and the women's side, I would say yes. And even following up, Nep and Nick went on to talk about...
Nep, this is a question I have for you. I think this is going to happen. What do you think about Team of the Years this year having 2 Playstyle Pluses? Because I think that would be dope.
Yeah, I definitely think Team of the Year will be the first 2 Playstyle Pluses. And then I think it will become like a commonality. Like, I think every promo after that will start having 2 Playstyle Pluses.
And I think we're on the pathway for FIFA Mobile, where we're going to somehow match those types of ratings where it just keeps going, because a 90 is no longer enough. Soon, everyone's teams are going to include a bunch of 99 overalls, and EA's going to have to implement 100, 105, 115, 125. And we have seen some instances across other EA titles. If you play NHL or you play Madden, you're getting a glimpse of different ideas amongst the crossover communities. Concerns with gameplay. That's very real.
Did you see Sway got 14 wins in Weekend League with VVD at striker? He had Bosch at left back and just had VVD at striker and just sent the ball up there.
That's mad.
14 wins, bro. Like, I'm like, I had a bad weekend this year where I got 14 wins and I like was, 15 and 4. Like,
I'm not trying to throw any shade towards Swayback, but they bring up a good point. We're lacking some consistency. There's definitely some randomness. If you can play Virgil van Dijk up front and then take whipped pass and just whip in crosses and be able to achieve 14 wins from a player that's known amongst the community as a fantastic entertainer, phenomenal editor, a little bit of a musician, speaking multiple languages, long hair, and all sorts of positivity, put it on screen, but he's never been good at the game. Never stood out in terms of gameplay. I think we can all agree. Just brings up a question. It's been a while since we've addressed scripting or DDA, just general randomness. And it's almost as if the tides have turned, because I remember when everyone said there had to be scripting. Something exists where my team is not performing at the utmost level. But in this video...
For me, like, one of the things I always go back to is, like, if scripting was in the game, how is, like, Anders going 300 games in a row? Like, I just don't. I think it would be so much more obvious if it was in the game.
They bring up the Anders theory, and you can apply this to plenty of professional players. I think the reality is, to a certain degree, they're at a savant level of FIFA superstardom. I would put Tex into that conversation, or an MS Desari. They're anomalies. Their skill set naturally is higher than everyone else's. Then you have the tools of having the better teams. Then you also have the ability to invest the time, all the resources you could ask for. It makes sense that with those gifts and the elitism that they've built, they can put together unrealistic counteractions to even bad gameplay. The pro players are just good enough. And I come from that competitive angle. They can combat when nothing is working. I like that Nick brings up Harry.
I always use like Harry as an example, like when he was using a bronze team, right, and going 40-0. Like,
but doesn't that literally prove that skill is the primary factor?
it's still, no, I agree. I think it's still the primary factor.
Because even what he does, and we're talking about hashtag Harry, Harry Hesketh, hashtag House Harry, these challenges that he's put together, other pro players couldn't do it. The man is a freak. There's no if, and, or buts when you're talking about Harry. I've watched him on no sleep after drinking 12 beers, come on a live stream and go 20-0 with a Road to Glory all gold team, no problems. I've seen him win a draft where he couldn't even look at the screen. He's playing with his feet. You pick the team, you pick the height, you pick the rating, you pick the pace. He's on his own spectrum of ability in the game. If you don't realize how special and how difficult some of his achievements are that have nothing to do with competing, though we should bring up, even at the competitive level, Harry got himself up to a top 10 player for 1 year before he retired. I'd love to see him return. Top 10 in the world. The point that I'm making is these guys that are showcasing enough ability to be at the pro level, and they have the team, and they have the focus, they should be able to combat a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Maybe it's not scripting, maybe it's not DDA, but there's definitely something with the gameplay where you're not always getting the same package. I think we can all agree there's been times that you load up, whether it's connectivity, your player movement, your player spacing, it does not make sense. There is no logical or practical argument. Why are we opening up space like Moses in the Bible? At the very end of the video, a couple more gameplay takes that I think we should open up the room for discussion.
This slow game, I'd much rather games finish 8-5, 6-5, like every single time. It is not football, and that's what I struggle with the most.
Okay.
Because I love football and I want to play football, and you can't.
Yeah.
Because you have to play the game, don't you? You have to play the mechanics, you have to play the meta, otherwise you're just going to struggle.
Number one, the speed of the game. Faster paced game equals bigger skill gaps. I think most people would agree. Makes it more reactive, more fluid. As we slow down a game, more people can play at more competitive or at least above average level. They have a little more time on the ball. They swing it side to side. You can play at your pace without having to be as rushed. And this is where I bring back FIFA 12, FIFA 16, Golden Era. Nick and Nep talk about FIFA 19, which was a FIFA installment like no other. Fast-paced, high scoring, but no realism. Which brings me to the second point, because Nep wants a simulation to football, and Nick talks about how once the game gets to a point where you have to play the game, the meta completely, you no longer have choice. If you want success, this is how you have to play the game. That takes away from the simulation or the football experience, which I agree with. You should be able to have choice. Can I play out wide? Can I play through the middle of the pitch? Can I play defensive? Can I play attacking? Is it a passive play? Is there a lot of possession? Do we have tiki-taka? I want adjustables. I want depth. I want substance. So once we cross over to where you're required to play in one way to have success, in one demeanor, in one form of build-up, one formation, one tactic, that ends up being problematic. We addressed a lot. I look forward to the comments. If you found this interesting, I want to do more reaction videos on the channel within the community. So if you like it, make sure to subscribe, share the video around the community. I appreciate both Nick and Nep getting together, gave us some opinions that agreed, other ones that contrasted. A good piece of FIFA podcast history. And as always, I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.